Hello Doctor Who fans, this is Paul and Geoff from Who Corner to Corner. Today's episode is going to be a big one with arrows and bows and targets and fair maidens and dangerous robots and Sherwood and Robin Hood and everything. We're essentially going to do a commentary, aren't we, Geoff, on robots of Sherwood. Yeah, robot of Sherwood, singular. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
You built that up, and then it went. Ooh.
I'm trying to get a bit of enthusiasm for the episode going because it's never been one of my favourites. I'm not going to lie. I've only watched this one twice. The first time I watched it, I wasn't impressed at all, not even by a marginal point. Second time I watched it, I thought, okay, it's got something going for it. It's all right. But it's never been one of my favourites, mate. In fact, you had to cajole me brutally and violently into watching this today.
Did I?
I'm trying to build it up again. You know? You could have gone with it. You could have said, yeah, I did. Yeah, I beat you to a pulp.
The reason we did it is because when we did our essential 12th Doctor episode, we talked about this and we said we should do a commentary on it because it's one of the, in a shocking turn of events, it's one of those ones that seems to be quite divisive within the fandom.
A lot of the episodes are from this series, I think. Series 8 was kind of pushing the envelope of what kind of stories they can actually tell in Doctor Who.
Yes, that's true.
There were some format breaking and indeed fiction breaking episodes, and this, I believe, is one of those.
Yes. Right. Should we crack on? People, if you're listening and watching, you can make this interactive. Go get your streaming... Well, don't go and get your streaming copy. Turn on your streaming copy. Or
just put it on. Just whack it on now. Get the episode, cue it up, and get ready to play it when Geoff counts down to 0. There you go.
I'm just going to go to 1 and then press play. I'm not going to say 0. Okay,
do it. Ready?
So here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's loading.
We're on.
Right, he's writing on the
blackboard. Take a punt. Your choice, wherever, anywhere in time and space. Look at Jenna Coleman there. She's lovely with her fancy hair and everything.
Yeah.
Who she always wanted to meet? It could be anybody, couldn't it?
Well, I don't know. Well, so tell us what you think of this TARDIS set.
I love this TARDIS set. I think it's brilliant. Yeah. It's one of my favourites. It really is. I think it's obviously it started life in Matt Smith's era, but since Peter Capaldi took on the role, it's become a little bit warmer. I like the library in the background there. We've got some nice books that you can just reach out and grab a book on anything. It's a bit like, in some ways, in that way, the 8th Doctor's TARDIS, which had a whole library plus candles. And it's like that without the candles.
Yeah, and also a little bit like... the 4th Doctor's secondary control room. Just it's a darker the wood elements. I really like this TARDIS interior.
It doesn't have a shaving mirror. Tom Baker's one had a shaving mirror in there.
Yeah,
I don't think this one has.
He's got a spoon though.
He does have a spoon for ice cream eating, which I quite like in this, actually. It's a nice light touch for the 12th Doctor, which we haven't seen much of up to this point.
This is an episode that feels... This is a Mark Gatiss episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like it could have been a 11th Doctor, or maybe even a 10th at a push. So, yes, it's lighter for 12, and it's quite fun to see him sort of doing slightly differently here. I always liked this. That's a great shot there. The crane up as the...
Yeah, it's all right. Jenna's face is a little bit...
she's excited about it.
It's a bit musical theatre there, I think.
I will not have criticism of
Mate,
Jenna or...
If you don't want criticism of Jenna Coleman then or Clara, then you shouldn't put this episode on. It's going to come thick and fast here, I'm telling you now, sunshine. I'm just winding you up, don't worry. Oh, watch out for that. This is stray arrows. Because, Sherwood Forest, arrows, they're bound to be flying around, aren't they? Look at that handsome figure there in his green finery. Little wink.
He can't quite
Crash
believe
titles.
It. Yeah.
Do you know, originally when I first saw this, at this point, I think I was burying my face in my hands. I just thought, no.
Really?
Please not. I mean, it's every flipping cliche in the book, isn't it? Let's go to Robin Hood, and there's Robin with his hat, his jaunty hat and his jaunty arrows and bows. I just thought, oh, what are we doing, man?
Well, but of course it's explained later, isn't it?
It is, but sort of fiction breaking way.
Yeah.
Which I think is why it's so divisive. You know, you either go with it and enjoy it, or you don't.
or just enjoy it. The end of.
Yeah, but you can't. You know, if it puts things in the way of you stopping an enjoyment of it by breaking the story, breaking the fiction, the fourth wall, any of that.
I like that bit where the hole in the TARDIS heals up. That was quite cool. Yeah, I mean, a
good jest.
I've always enjoyed Robin Hood stuff, and so I quite like this.
But look at this language, you bony rascal! It's all out of a children's storybook, which I know again is the intention.
Yeah,
right?
but it's just it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Some lovely shots here as well, by the way. With the
I think that's the thing. Yeah, it is a bit of fun.
Yeah,
he laughs with a little bend of the knee. It's given me so much stuff to hate. It's given me a lot of stuff already to stop watching.
Now, here's something.
So I've got to make a decision to go with it or not.
Now, we had a tweet come in that was discussing Jenna's top 3 Clara outfits, so we're going to come back to that later. This is one of them, yeah.
I honestly don't care about her outfits.
Well, look at she's look how giggly she is.
You found him, Robin Hood.
Brilliant.
See, I like the Doctor's stance on this. Robin Hood cannot exist.
Yeah.
He's a fictional character. As a fictional character himself, he knows all about that, and we of course get that discussion. Now, with the Doctor and Robin standing on here references the meeting with Robin and Little John, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is how they met. They had a fight on a log spanning a river or something.
Now, I just want to say that little bit there where the Doctor does this with his glove, and he very subtly gives a little middle finger to Robin. Have you noticed that?
I didn't notice that. I'm not playing it back.
No, it'll mess everything up.
It will.
But I love this thing of fighting with a spoon. It's so silly and so doctory.
It's typically doctorish. Yeah, I love that.
It sort of makes me think a bit like when 10 and then 13, where he has his water squirter thing, doesn't he? At one point, she gets out a catapult. It's that idea that they've all each Doctor's got something hidden in their pockets. A kid's toy that you can
There's a whole universe in the Doctor's pocket.
Yeah,
see there, the Doctor referencing Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
I like that. Again, that's very doctorish and very knowing as well.
Yeah.
In the script, it's like Mark Gatiss. He's like, look, I know you guys are going to get this. Let's have some fun. I'm going to throw loads of Robin Hood references in because why not? Yeah.
And also, it shows. We've looked at Sleep No More before, which was the next season, and another Gatiss episode, and. He's obviously, he's a clever writer. This is quite meta as well. This one, like you're saying, with the kind of the fictional, references and being aware of fictional characters within it and stuff like that.
Which at the time when this came out, I wasn't enamoured by at all. Like I said, second time round, I kind of
that's a great shot there on
enjoyed it a lot more.
Sheriff.
It's very Terry Gilliam. I think this bit, very sort of Monty Python, Holy Grail type thing.
Look, this is another example of Who doing
this
great
is,
set. Yeah, well, it's not a set. They probably filmed somewhere. One of those.
Who's this guy? This is Ben Miller. Is it Ben Miller?
Ben Miller. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost said Ben Armstrong there for a second. Ben Miller, Alexander Armstrong.
Yeah,
double act.
He's good. There's.
He looks very. He looks like the Master in the Curse of the Fatal Death.
Someone tweeted about that. I think
who was that fellow? Yeah, he's a Bond villain as well, wasn't he? I should know his name.
And also, I can't remember what I was going to say there at all. It's when you think about the Sheriff of Nottingham, you kind of think of Alan Rickman's portrayal in Prince of Thieves, and there's some roles I think that you've got to be quite ballsy to take on. When there's someone else who's done it so kind of identifiably, and that they've created that image that's drilled into people's minds. But then again, we know Prince of Thieves. There's people far younger than us,
never have heard of it. Yeah.
Would never have heard of it. So it's difficult sometimes. I think when we know of a film or whatever, and then it gets remade, and you're sacrilege or whatever. But actually, there's people out there who've never seen the original.
Yeah, and it's just one in a long line of portrayals of that character, isn't it?
And they wouldn't watch it, and as awful as it is, if it's black and white, they won't watch it, and so I'd have been daunted to take on a Sheriff of Nottingham.
But on the other hand, it's like it's a kind of a pantomime role, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Jafar in Aladdin, or the evil sorcerer, or whatever they want to call it. It's just that kind of thing.
I love how excited Clara is here with it all, and she's loving it, and the Doctor's a bit. Look at him; he's a little bit jealous. And
I'm going to be like the Doctor in here. I'm looking at all of this with a little bit of disdain, sort of wondering, these are the merry men, literally, as told in children's storybooks. They are literally acting or performing to character, to that stereotype character that we've been with since primary school. These are them. They're not darkened up. They're not given much more character than what we already know. The merry men of Sherwood Forest. That's it. It's and again, it's like you have to sort of go with that, which is asking a lot. I think if you're a kid watching it, brilliant, it's fine, no problem. But which I think as adults, it's kind of challenging us to get back into that childish space. And if you're willing to go there, brilliant. But if you're not,
I think there's a number of things there. We must always remember that the show is not just made for us.
No, exactly. But then this series is a very adult in its tone.
It is, yeah. Which is
and
why
it requires some challenging. It requires the watchers, the viewers, to really challenge themselves in all different ways. This is equally challenging, really, in that respect, in the fact that it forces you to kind of watch this as a child and just go with the fun of it all. Yeah. Other episodes in this series challenge you in slightly different ways.
It gets much darker, but see, when you're saying that you didn't like it, and I'm thinking, I see people talking about stuff like that online. And it makes me end up thinking, what's wrong with me? I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed, but no, genuinely, like, should I have watched this and gone, well, I hate this because
no, not at all,
because it's Robin Hood brought to life, and that shouldn't happen in Doctor Who. And I said in another episode of the podcast recently, that I think Doctor Who is creatively unlimited, and I like that they've taken a fictional thing, a story, character, supposedly, effectively, made it the story, transplanted the Doctor into it, but then justified the, real world explanation for why this has happened. Personally, I think that's quite clever.
And I think maybe, the whole thing about these guys being that sort of archetype, the merry men of Sherwood Forest, exactly out of a 5-year-old storybook, is part of that. It's like, well, why not? We've had, over the years, there have been many treatments of Robin Hood and his crew, and they've been given additional characterization. They've been given more backstories. They've been made darker. The relationships have been tested, and maybe Will Scarlet wasn't quite such a friend of Little John as, Friar Tuck. Maybe he was just a dirty, corrupt, religious villain, basically. We've had all of that. What this does, actually, it challenges all of that and restores them to that, to that primary school image we were all brought up with. It
takes it back to the, the Disney version in a way.
Exactly that.
Very kind of fun and, light-hearted version of it. And, genuinely, I enjoy this, and I like that it was doing something fun, a bit different. We talked about this before in our Q&A episode. Should Doctor Who be dark or should it be fun? And I think it can be both. And
that's not even funny.
It is funny. There's so much good stuff in here.
Sometimes the Doctor's saying there, doesn't do bantering.
Yeah, I love that. See, I don't normally like the word banter or bants, but when the Doctor says it, I don't do banter.
See, this is the core of it now, isn't it? When did you start believing in impossible heroes? This is the real story right here, I think, because obviously that's what the Doctor is, right? The Doctor is an impossible hero meeting up with another impossible hero. Of course, Robin Hood possibly did exist. We don't know for sure that he's not real. or maybe the fiction was created around a bunch of people,
Yeah.
for various reasons.
I mean, things often come from, there's an element of truth, but yeah, like you say, could have been a number of people, could have been a group of people that did what Robin has become legend for,
Jonathan Pryce, that's the name. That's who he reminds me of.
Yes.
Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah.
Is,
and
master
also
in
a
The
bit
Curse of the
like
Fatal Death.
Alan Cumming in
As King James.
Yeah.
And the Witchfinders.
Similar look.
That's a good shot. He stands up with the wings of the legend behind him.
Wonder where they filmed
that.
Yeah.
That castle looks familiar. Probably Google it.
Probably it's in. I'll Google it quickly. It's in quite good condition, which is unusual.
Swagger. It's brilliant. Takes his arrow. This is a popular Robin Hood story, isn't it? The arrow, the tournament of the Golden Arrow, or whatever it's called.
It says this was.
Run away! Get out of the way!
So the medieval village was Cosmoston medieval village, which is in Wales, and then Caerphilly Castle.
Is it Caerphilly Castle?
Let's have a look. Can't see an exterior of it. I wonder if it was somewhat CG enhanced, maybe. Not that that's.
I think there was a shot there a while back when it probably was.
Yeah, the wide shot
with the lake.
The flags and stuff were probably added, but I wonder.
And probably just CGI'd out the car park and the tents, the kiosks, the tourist shops, souvenir shops, and all that sort of thing. Oh, who's this now? The Doctor has split Robin's arrow. He is full of surprises. So
this Robin dressing up is very much like in the Disney film. Might be the same in the original book. I don't know. I've never read it, but he dresses up, doesn't he? If you remember that, the gold arrow always makes me sort of think of you could have held on to that for the Cybermen.
Just shoot a few golden arrows at them. Yeah.
This bit's
so. He just fired an arrow at the knight there, and it just bounced off him. Does he suspect? Does he know?
Well, he scanned the apple earlier, didn't he? Look at this, without looking.
It just blows up the target. Typical 12th Doctor. Love that. No time for this. Just blow it up. I don't care.
Somehow.
Using the Sonic, because that's what the Sonic can do now, right? It can just blow shit up.
Oh, here we go. The sword's out.
Easy, Tiger.
Yeah, Clara's getting in on it. Now, I was going to say, I like that Capaldi had quite a range of outfits. It made me think, actually, of just the top three Clara outfits. Maybe we should do an outfit special and look at our favourite Doctor outfits. But it's not many of them, really, that change hugely. 12 and 11 do, but the others don't. But, as we've seen from filming with Shooty,
there's the robot.
And this is a bit of a misdirection as well, isn't it? You think that's the robot of Sherwood? We've seen Shooty, wearing lots of different outfits, and he looks like he's really going to be kind of a multi-costume Doctor. I've got to ask how he's managed to grow his hair substantially between episodes. So I hope there's a narrative explanation for that. But Ruby seems to be getting into different era costumes and stuff as well. So I quite like whilst I sort of understand the Doctor largely having one look, one kind of silhouette that's their iconic thing, and it's fairly uniform across the era. I did quite like Capaldi's variations.
It's nice little variations. Yeah.
I think a little bit's good. He had, to me, 12 has probably had too many different looks to sort of be able to say that's his identifiable one. I mean, I really like this with the sort of done-up collar and everything, but then I like that red velvet crush thing he wore later on as well. And then like, Matt Smith's Doctor, he had some really cool looks, but I can't really kind of pick a favourite one out of them.
I think with the 12th Doctor, it's almost like his changing clothes reflect the changing, evolving nature of his personality. So in this series, we see a lot more of those buttoned up shirt collars, don't we, and tightly tailored suits. And it's almost like the Doctor's aware that he is a costume, that he is putting on an appearance, and he's quite tight. He's quite buttoned in, like
Yes, he is,
psychologically, as well as everything. And then in series 9, we get the hoodie, don't we? I think coming out a lot more, where he's almost become a bit more of a recluse at the start of it. This is the conversation, isn't it, where they really sort of discuss there's some clever things in here.
Yeah.
With both of them chained up in a dungeon, because that's what happens in medieval days of yore.
So I was just looking up online because Ray Holman was the costume designer for some of the 12th Doctor. But I think it was series 9 that he worked on, which would have been his more cosmic hobo type look when he had
Cosmic hobo.
Yeah, he wore
second Doctor.
Yeah, he had his check trousers and a blazer and a hoodie and stuff. Like you say, he's softening up a little bit as he went along there like that. This is quite good. This little.
It's very funny actually. This is Mark Gatiss having a right laugh.
Yeah,
and then Clara brings him in like two naughty schoolboys.
Yeah.
Teacher, and they instantly shut up. I love it.
I saw some discourse the other day about Jodie's Doctor being kidnapped too often, and it never happened with previous Doctors.
Of course not. Yeah, I mean it literally does happen all the time, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm seeing it right now.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, I tend not to get involved in that, mate, if I can help it.
That's why.
Unless I just want to go in and abuse someone for being a complete idiot.
Or throw some spanner gifts at them. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what that does. Yeah, spanner.
I find it's much better when you mute certain words on Twitter.
Yeah. Clara's good in this, actually, isn't she? She's very authoritative.
To me, so anyone who listens to the podcast will know I'm a big Clara fan and a big Jenna fan. And I think Jenna's a brilliant actress.
She is,
she's great across her time here. She did a mini-series called The Cry, which she was phenomenal in, and should have got more recognition for. She did The Serpent, which was really good. She was fab in Victoria as well. She's sort of somewhat gone quiet on screen recently. She's been doing stage work and stuff, and she's probably someone who sort of likes to sort of do a bit of both. But I kind of feel like she could be I was going to say the next Karen Gillan, and I don't mean in style, but Karen's become a big star and but also still writes and directs stuff as well, and uses her big projects and her name within those to help
move on, like
get her stuff done.
Get
which
a leg up the ladder.
Capaldi's been quite quiet since he finished being the Doctor, hasn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of him actually.
I know he did the Paddington films.
Yeah,
and he did the Suicide Squad, which was fun, but it wasn't a huge part in it. And then there's something on Amazon called Devil's something or other, which I haven't watched, but yeah, it's been quite a while since he did this, and he quite often when they finish the show Companion, Doctor, they'll go on to do quite a bit afterwards, won't they? Even if it's not necessarily like becoming a massive star like Tennant, he's busy all the time, but I wouldn't say like he wouldn't headline a big movie. Do you know what I mean? But he's certainly got an extremely busy and varied career.
Yeah.
And then like Matt Smith, though, in fairness, took him a long time after this to get where he is now with Game of Thrones and stuff. But he's still picking misfires like Morbius and things.
Some people like Morbius. I haven't watched it yet, to be honest.
No, I would quite like to watch it, to be fair. But it didn't do great.
Yeah, it doesn't mean to say it's actually a bad
story.
It
doesn't. But
you keep saying, everyone's got their opinions.
It just
I'd rather make my own up. Is this another molten lava circuit like we saw in Fires of Pompeii, where it was a stone circuit?
Yes, it is a little bit actually, isn't it? Yeah, well, it is a lot. No, my point about Morbius was that when a film doesn't do great, it can kind of hurt and
set things back a little bit. Yeah. No, you're quite right. Your words are strange, fair one. Again, the dialogue is straight out of sort of storybook style, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really.
Great.
Interspersed sandwiches in a cling film.
They're Graham.
It's funny.
It's Graham's. He always has to have a sandwich, doesn't he?
Yeah. This wand. Oh dear. I can just imagine Mark Gatiss just going with it, just having such a laugh right in this. Just, do you know, I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put that. I care not.
Yeah. It's great. It's really nicely shot, this one. It is.
Yeah.
Great
They do seem to do well on the historical types, don't they?
Yeah,
They do seem to.
BBC always have, haven't they?
Yeah.
I suppose I don't know, maybe it's just a bit cheaper because the stuff sort of somewhat exists rather than having to create future worlds, you know.
Well, I think because there's like a sort of known or established continuity, isn't there? A known style, perhaps, where with candles and Gothic arches in castles and wooden stocks and everything.
So someone tweeted that there's a book. It is Doctor Who: The Return of Robin Hood, and they said that I'm going to look it up. That it continues
What, this story?
Yeah, but with the Fourth Doctor.
What ails him? What ails you? It's never, what's the matter? What's wrong? What ails you?
I didn't actually realise this one was out yet. Robin Hood is disenchanted, made merry and has disappeared, and the legend of the Doctor has retreated into the shadows of Sherwood Forest. But the Doctor is back. Although this is his first visit, time travel does strange things to a story, and the timing couldn't be better. New Sheriff of Nottingham is in town, out to get the outlaws, and behind the scenes, the mythical Mother Maudlin has designs on the realm that are not of this earth. With the kingdom in peril, it is time for the return of the Lionheart.
That's throwing a lot at it, isn't it? We've got Richard the Lionheart in there, and Robin Hood, and aliens by the sounds of things.
And how can that be the Doctor's first visit if he's number 4, when in this story he's not met him before? I
honestly don't care.
That's the sort of thing that makes me ponder. So this is
who wrote that book?
Let me have a look. This was Paul Maggers. I don't know.
Oh, Paul Mars. He writes some good books, actually.
Maggers.
He's one of my favourites. He definitely goes with the weird, bizarre, and outright hilarious.
So you were saying about the kind of not fairy tale, but
like the primary school reader.
A little bit, yeah. So you may have seen them. There's a series of books that are sort of Doctor Who combined with classic literature stuff.
Oh yeah, I did see those. Yeah, I haven't read them.
So I've read Doctor Who: The Wonderful Doctor of Oz, which is 13 and Missy, and again it's a bit like Robot of Sherwood. This is clearly where they kind of got the inspiration from, but it takes place. It's sort of again, it's quite clever. It's like a remake of. Well, it's like Wizard of Oz, but done. There's a reason why they actually go to Oz in it, and kind of somewhat redo the story. And then there's Doctor Who: Legends of Camelot, which is 10th Doctor and Donna, and I've got that one, but I haven't read it. And then there's another one that's just come out recently, which is it's due out later this year. Doctor Who: Josephine and the Argonauts. So this is the 3rd Doctor with Joe Grant,
doing Jason and the Argonauts?
Yeah. Joe Grant and the Doctor visit the British Museum. They may have got more than they bargained for. A mysterious object is revealed, which grants those who touch it strange visions of Greek myths. Gods, warriors, and monsters are contained within this device, which they call the mythoscope. But something sinister is at play. A powerful influence seems to be controlling the mythoscope, mastering it. Oh, I wonder who that's going to be. Joe and the Doctor must enter the mythoscope to face an old and terrible enemy, battling Zeus dragons and going into the underworld. That's also by Paul Mars as well.
I must say, I'm not a fan of crossovers. I'm not going to lie. It would take a lot to get me to read one of those, even written by someone as brilliant as Paul Mars. Just not me, really.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Badoomph! Slam that dagger down loudly
There's
and
also
shout.
Rebellion on Treasure Island, which is Eleven and Clara investigating.
See,
pirates.
because I like Doctor Who and I like Treasure Island. I'm not necessarily sure I'd be anyway interested in seeing the two of those things combined. I know people do like that sort of stuff, but it's really not for me. I just find it horrific to contemplate. So I'm not going to invest.
I really enjoyed the 13 and Missy one. I wonder what others they're planning.
Maybe that's part of the reason I wasn't such a big fan of this one either, actually. The whole idea. Well, I don't know. But I mean, Doctor Who's always done crossovers anyway, hasn't it? Look at back in the William Hartnell days, Doctor Who and Marco Polo, Doctor Who and the Crusades, that original brief to do historical episodes that kind of taught the kids about that particular episode in history or that story, for example. But then I think a lot of those are times, like with the French Revolution in the Reign of Terror and the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, but they're not necessarily the kind of fairy tale or the mythological aspects of those periods in history. And maybe they have been sort of mythologized over time, and the Doctor goes there and sort of unpicks the reality from the fiction or something. But even then, never really massively. I think until we get to the myth makers, actually, which again is probably the genesis of something like this when I think about it, because that was a first Doctor story where the Doctor the first Doctor goes and gets involved in the whole Trojan horse thing.
Yeah,
and it kind of plays out to pretty much again the sort of primary school reader that we know, and has a lot of fun and a lot of jokes and a lot of laughs with it at the same time. So there is a precedent for that sort of thing, for sure. It'd be interesting to actually see it. It's a missing story,
is it?
Sadly. Yeah, but it'd definitely be one that'd be worth watching. For curiosity, if nothing else. What we got now? We got some proper sci-fi going on now. We got we got some sort of graphic explanation of something.
Robin's looking rather confused there. He doesn't
bamboozled.
A big glowing egg thing.
With smoke coming out of it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do an engine, is it? A big sci-fi engine on the cheap.
Yeah.
Perspex dome with a bit of light inside and some dry ice coming out around the edge. It's a future engine for space.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably quite cheap to do that, but it doesn't look it.
No, it's effective. Don't get me wrong.
It's a great set. They often do those light panels in the wall, like the ones behind them there. They've got.
And this is like a one-time only set as well, really.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly. Yeah, but look at that wide shot.
It still looks very solid.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And this is good. I like this, showing the legends of Robin Hood over the years.
Yeah, this is where all sort of.
So the Doctor is like, "Are you real?"
Yeah, it's quite but yeah, breaks that, blurs that line, doesn't it, between the our reality, the reality of this story, and
this is the fiction
of it
questioning the fiction.
Who plays Robin?
What's that?
Who plays Robin here?
Oh, should know, shouldn't we? Should have got all this up. Surrender, outlaw. I love the fact that the Doctor's still not buying it. It's brilliant. Just play acting. This is just a pantomime. You're all having a laugh at my expense. Robin's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm real. What is this?
I like the way the little cross on the robot's forehead then puts a light on them as well, on the target. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a nice play on the cruciform for the Crusades as well, isn't it? It looks like it could be part of that whole age, except it's a robot. So it's a nice design. I love the design on that. Oh, now we're in a quarry. Yeah, and I think they've turned
the other side of the moat.
Turned some daylight footage to. No, I love the way he polishes the warthog thing on the suit there. Now, do you remember when this episode went out? It's not controversial, is it? But the original ending.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah.
Featured the beheading of the sheriff, and obviously he's revealed to be a robot. But something awful and tragic just happened in the real world, didn't it? Like that week or something. I can't remember whether it went out in broadcast with the beheading in it.
I don't remember. I do remember something about it at the time, but that's a clonk on the head. Yeah, see, that's a CGI enhanced shot, isn't it? That looks like a plate shot of the castle. Yeah.
So seeing little pieces.
Now we're getting proper sci-fi now. Engine capacity at 48%.
I've just looked up on Robot of Sherwood controversy, and it's taken me to a Reddit.
Well done. Good luck with that.
Yeah, here you go. This will explain it all. I've seen a lot of people list Robot of Sherwood as one of the worst / most pointless episodes.
No.
Yeah, well, if any episode is pointless, then. Do you know what I mean?
You're upsetting Geoff. Geoff, I've warned you before, don't go on Reddit. Nothing of any value lies there.
It doesn't. But this person says...
You will find only pain and dragons.
This person says, I watched it, I enjoyed it, it was fun and silly. It reminded me of why I like Doctor Who. Well done. So I was just... Why do they hate it? The ending felt slapped together.
I'm kind of watching it now. I'm sort of just getting into it. You know, that thing with always is with these commentaries, isn't it? You get to a point where you just end up going with the story.
Here we go. So just reading it.
So I like that. There's a certain tonal shift in this story round about now. It has become and is becoming ever so slightly more edgy, slightly darker, a little bit more grim. You know, the kind of fun and frolics, that's all done with. Now it's starting to turn into something with a bit more actual peril.
Tom Riley plays Robin. So the decapitation scene was removed before the episode went out on the Saturday. So was never seen.
Was never seen. Really interesting.
But
we've got a legion of robots now. They're all robots, and they're reflective. They're holding up their reflective plates so as to defeat said robots. Again, it's maybe a little bit comic book, but whatever.
We were.
It's got a notification. So he's familiar with all the technology, isn't he? This so-called Sheriff of Nottingham. He knows what he's on about here. He's not quite what he seems.
No. So we did get sent the deleted scene, didn't we?
Oh yeah, somebody sent it to us. Yeah. Thank you for that. I haven't watched it, to be honest. But
okay. Well, it's quite interesting. It's you know, it's incomplete sound effects and stuff like that, and it's quite funny. When the head gets come off.
See the way she's shaking the thing there. She's the only one acting as if to make out there's an impact on the plate.
Yeah, but that's just the Doctor so used to it. He
braces
for it. You could see the actor lying on the floor with a green screen cloak on, so he's to get rid of the body and stuff.
I was going to say as well, purple laser beams, brilliant. We need more purple laser beams.
A little bit of colour is always good. So the deleted scene, I'd need to watch it again and see kind of how it fitted in, but it definitely, but by taking it out, it kind of robs a little bit of the sort of impact to this end to reveal the sheriff, as a robot. But it was removed for the.
But it's not difficult to make that connection anyway, is it? Really,
no, to be honest, it's just to see it would be good. But that's the second time that this. Era of Who had unfortunate life.
As we mentioned with the Zygon invasion. Invasion.
Yeah.
Shut it down. He still thinks Robin's a robot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I like that, because that's the only way you can rationalise it. Robin, literally to the type that I've seen in all the storybooks. Of course, he's a robot. And there is a reasoning for the Doctor to think that, which explains here, just create someone to give hope, so it makes the oppression stronger, and more painful, and more effective. It's a rubbish idea. That's brilliant. Murray Gold's stirring music there when the Doctor says he's a legend. We get a triumphant swelling of horns and brass.
Oh.
It's a bit obvious, isn't it? But again, plays into the whole kind of thing of using the archetypes for what they are, I suppose. Sorry, I feel I'm being really dismissive of this story while I'm doing it, but
No.
just the mood you caught me in right now, to be honest.
Remember, people listen to us because we like the show.
They do. I do like the show, and I do sort of. I don't like this one very much, I'll be honest, but
that's fair enough.
I would still take this rather than a lot of other crap I see on the TV these days.
Hopefully,
And it is a lot of fun. You know,
Yeah.
it's just me being a cynical old bastard, really.
Well, hopefully my enjoyment of it is making up for that.
Good man. Stand
You know
your
what?
ground.
I've realised that
Keep your integrity.
quite a few of our episode face-off battle royale type stuff has been Capaldi episode, Sleep No More, Kill the Moon. This
It's an era of the show I've never really felt satisfied by.
And I was going to say you've not enjoyed any of them.
That's because we haven't watched one that I enjoyed yet. Yeah. We should do one that I really, really do enjoy. It's like I understand what they're trying to do, you know, find new ways of telling the story and keep it going. And Pete Capaldi is absolutely the right actor, and I love his characterisation of the Doctor. I do like Clara as well. I know I often jibe, but that's just to get at you, mate. You know, just for a laugh, because it keeps me going from day to day, really. But it's but I don't know. They just never quite seem to hit the mark for me.
I can't remember what he does.
Until we get to Series 10, I think Series 10 for me is more consistent. I don't think it achieves great heights until we get towards the end of it. Yeah, but saying that's not true, because I love the Monk trilogy as well, which a lot of people aren't quite happy with either.
Yeah, I thought that started out brilliant, and it was okay.
It's a big weight to have in the middle of a series. I think that's the thing, a big 3-part blockbuster, you know, which you either love or you hate, and if you hate it, it's a hell of a thing to get past.
I don't hate it. I just I don't know. It was a long time ago I watched it. So look, he's been goldified there.
Yeah.
So I need to look at.
We missed a bit where he's revealed as a robot.
I can't work out kind of. Well, he does put his head back on in it. He picks the head up and puts it back on, so it's quite possible that before they end up on the beam sword fighting, that's when it happened. Oh no, I love this. This is so.
This is where I think if you don't like this episode, you might as well switch off now, really, because this bit will not endear you any further towards it. Likewise, if you love it, then this is a triumphant climax to everything that's been set up previously.
Being a hero, there's some weird...
And having a really, really good aim.
Yeah.
Has it got a homing device on it? Did it say there? Must have missed that thing. There's a homing device on the arrow, which makes it fly true, I suppose. There's a great one of the episodes of Game of Thrones. Don't know if you've seen it, where there's a guy shooting a longbow into a funeral ship as it sails down the river, and he consistently misses, and the ship's getting further and further away, and he consistently misses, and now everyone's getting a little bit worried. I love that.
Yeah,
but no such thing here. The arrow's fired once, and it hits true, bullseye. But nothing actually happens until the ship's in orbit, safely away from ground. Hurrah! Huzzah! They might as well do that. Yeah. Give it a rest, Alan. That's just totally, completely out of League of Gentlemen, that is. I do like the humour in this.
It's great fun. Yeah,
it is. I think if you can watch it, you know, and just not worry about any of the other stuff, just go with it. It's a good laugh. We'll come to comments, because we asked people to tell us what they thought of the. We did.
Yeah. So, Paul, we can alternate between the Facebook comments and.
We got some Facebook comments on this
because the Facebook's been quite active on this. Which is nice.
Which is nice. What's that? Is that from the Fast Show? They used to do that, didn't they? Yeah. Which is nice.
I've just been up in the loft and I found the Holy Grail, which was nice.
Which is nice. That's it. Oh, that takes me back. That does.
Let's see.
The thing is, Robin's look there, I think, has come back into fashion. If my recent wanderings around the capital of our fair isle are anything to be believed.
What, the hair?
I've seen
or the
many a twirly moustache and a fulsome pointed chin curtain.
Soup catcher.
Yep. Now we're just watching it again, aren't we? This is where the podcast goes quiet for any of you who are actually just listening.
Well, I'll start with a few comments from people then.
Well, hold on, actually, because before you do, I think this little exchange that they have about history being a burden to those who impact it and whose name lives on is quite a nice one, and sort of reminds, because Robin's raison d'etre reflects what the Doctor does, fighting the good fight, right?
Yep.
Helping the oppressed, the people who don't have a voice, who can't stand up for themselves against masses of oppression and what have you. And this almost, when you think back to the Doctor's question at the start of this series, am I a good man? Why do I do this? This is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fact that Doctor there says, I'm not a hero, I'm not you, I'm not Robin of Sherwood. I'm just me, and I do what I do. And it's you are a good man. You do what you do for a reason. And this is another reminder to the Doctor as to why he does what he does, and goes again. It's one step in starting to answer that question: am I a good man? So from that perspective, for the longer arc of the 12th Doctor's character development, it's very, very good. And Mark Gatiss knows exactly what he's doing with this. Whether there's nothing wrong with the script, there's nothing wrong with the story. It's just really the audience. It's whether you make a decision as a viewer to go with it and have fun, or to question it, to be rebuffed by the challenges the script is asking you to make. But quite rightly, the script is unashamed in asking you to do those things. So, I'm so glad it exists, and that it is what it is. And just because it's not my favourite episode doesn't mean to say that I'm going to hate it, or have a go at anybody who loves it, because I see exactly why they love it. It's core Doctor Who in all its greatness. And there's Marion, actual Marion. Look at that, beautiful, tears in his eyes. It's a very challenging story, from as I've said, but I think actually, when all's said and done, for the right reasons, and it's a Doctor Who is richer for it being here. Ha 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 ha! I love it. Still finishes on a hearty laugh. Oh dear, that's a lot of fun. What's next? What's coming next? What's the next one?
Listen.
This is your favourite one, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is Listen.
As Robin fired that arrow somewhere across in Nottingham, someone just had an arrow in the head.
Yeah. Just because what goes up must come down, right?
Yeah, so you
Listen,
go from
what a great trailer that is, isn't it?
fun and light-heartedness to the...
so we go from Robin of Locksley and his merry men to the dark shape on top of the bed. Yeah, it's all right. And again, as I said, it's not my favourite episode, but I'm glad it's there, and I'm glad it is what it is.
Yeah, I really like it. It's good fun. I think my view on it is probably quite clear. So let me go to some of the tweets, and then you can give us some of the Facebooks as well. So Tony Filer, who's at Filer Writes, says, glorious, demented, funny, grumpy Who. Early Capaldi getting every inch of comedy out of grumpy doctoring. Joyous refusal to believe in legends, while Clara fangirls Robin and outwits the best sheriff of Nottingham since Rickman. Joyous comedy Who after a dark start to the run. Chat Tsunami at Chat Tsunami Pod says, from what I remember, it was a fun romp, pretty inoffensive and light-hearted. Well, maybe you'll watch along, or you have watched along when this one comes out, Chat Tsunami, and you might see if you were right with your thoughts. Will Hadcroft, who's at Hadcroft Will, says, I was hoping that Ben Miller would turn out to be the master, as there was a couple of moments where he looked and sounded like Anthony Ainley. I would have rather have had that than Missy, to be honest, as great as Michelle Gomez was.
I'm not getting involved in that one.
So Melvin Pina, who's at Kittenry, says, top 3 Clara outfit for me, along with Name of the Doctor and Asylum of the Daleks. I love Clara and the Doctor's rapport with Robin Hood. I wish we could have had another ep to give the Merry Men more to do. Even in limited action, they all seem so full of life. And that was what got me thinking about outfits.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks, Melvin. I appreciate that one. Right, over to you for a couple.
Okay, so we've got a few on our, actually not so much on our page, but on one of the groups we subscribe to, which is Doctor Who Infinity. If you haven't checked it out, do so, because it's a really, really good Facebook group, really positive. So we've got Steve Diamond, who says, I like the bit where one fictional hero is decrying the existence of another in a piece of heroic fiction. There we go, that's the meta thing, isn't it? We need these role models, and he comes to respect his supposedly ridiculous counterpart. That's it. Again, the Doctor's first off refusing to recognise that Robin Hood could be real as a fictional character himself. They have value, they do inspire, plus great to see Troughton for a moment, plus Jenna never had a better costume. Yeah, did you see it, that little flashback when he showed all the Robin Hood clips? A little image of Patrick Troughton there. Thanks. Another one, Alan Shepherd here. I can't stand this episode, so completely the other side of the coin now. I rewatched so much Who, but never this one. Just my opinion. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's the only sort of negative on that page. So just to end it on a positive one, someone says here, this is John Cole, who says one of my favourite episodes of the Capaldi era, just the right mix of fun / humour and adventure. Plus, I'm a massive Errol Flynn Robin Hood fan, so got my vote once I heard the title.
So back on Twitter, Matthew, disciple of Brad, says, always willing to defend this episode from its detractors. The ending alone should see it get spoken about more often. A really lovely conversation between 12 and Robin that serves as a love letter to the show. We've got Who's Sir Clive -Lewis OBE versus BBC, who's at who's_Clive. Worth watching just the line, I don't need a sword because I am the Doctor and this is my spoon. Would still like to see the original cut ending that must still exist somewhere. And they put a...
Jeff's got it.
Yeah, I've got that. Giltzer, who's at Dennis Gill 10, loved this episode. The scene where Robin and the Doctor trade barbs in the dungeon is the funniest. James H at fit_geek UK says, my feelings on this one are forever tainted by the scene deleted for diplomatic reasons and not even reinstated for the physical release, even though it explains the effing title. So that's a good point. I must admit I was surprised it didn't get put back on, but I suppose, it was deemed sensitive, Robot of Death, Graham Ward 68 says, it's a fun, if a bit lightweight, but I'm very fond of it as my child loved it and had the biggest smile on his face all through. Fans forget sometimes when they criticise certain episodes that stories are just more geared for the 9-year-old, which is exactly what we said. 60s Man, who's at 70s Legend, says Robin and his gang were worthy of a spin-off, maybe not a regular series, but at least a limited run or a special on CBBC. Should have happened.
Or a book by Paul Mars.
Or a book, yeah. So if you didn't know 60s Man, there's a follow-on that you could check out. So I've very much enjoyed digging into Robot of Sherwood again there and doing that. So if you're listening and you'd like us to do an episode commentary for something else, maybe an episode that is not as seen as universally loved, let us know. We did our one for Orphan 55 a while ago.
We did.
And we had a couple of people DM us to say that they went back to watch the episode with our commentary and it changed their opinion of the episode and they ended up respecting and enjoying it far more. So that was really nice.
Lovely, that.
Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, let us know. We quite enjoy doing these, and hopefully you enjoy listening to them as well.
It'd be nice to do a classic series one. You know me, I'm always a sucker for
we should. Series. It's just they're so long. Maybe we need to split those over.
We could do a two-parter. We could do that. We could do The Rescue or something. Maureen O'Brien's first one from season 2 box set.
Yeah,
or The Awakening by Peter Davison. Or The King's Demons. Put us back in the Crusades with King John this time.
Just going to bring the music in now.
Okay. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.